Hello, hello, hi, I am Julianne Marie. I'm a certified personal trainer, and welcome to Body by Julianne. If this is your first time here, we are so happy to have you, and if you're a returning watcher, subscriber, I am so happy to see you here back. So we today are going to be talking about how to reduce your sugar intake. Does anyone here have a sugar problem? Anyone here a sugar lover? Anyone here have a sweet tooth? Because I do. I love sugar. I love sweets. I love putting things in my mouth that are nice and fruity. Because it just tastes good. Makes me happy. It's refreshing sometimes. So today we're going to be talking about 5 things you can do to reduce your sugar intake. Now there are probably, a lot of things you can do to reduce that sugar intake. Today I'm going to give you 5 things that I use to help reduce my sugar intake that have really helped me out in the long run. So if you didn't know, I actually at a point was pre-diabetic. So that was about, I want to say, maybe 2019? Yeah, it was my senior year of college when I found out that I was pre-diabetic. I took a year, worked on myself, and I got myself to a place where I was no longer pre-diabetic. And one of those things was, reducing how much sugar I had. And I had to do some research, some education on myself, and just some, trial and error, because everyone's a different person. You gotta find that thing that works for you. So I found some things. Now I'm gonna tell you what those 5 things were. So a lot of people will put sugar into their coffee or their tea just to make it a little bit sweeter, make it maybe not so bitter, just give it a little bit more flavor. Now, what I did, I swapped my sugar for cinnamon. Now, a lot of people don't really think about it, but cinnamon actually has a lot of flavor in it, and it's a really good spice. Not only is it just a good spice, it's a metabolism booster. So it's going to help you so you maybe don't get those major cravings later on in your day if you put just a little bit of cinnamon in it. And cinnamon has, nothing extra added into it. There are some spices that you might not know this, but a lot of spices actually have, salt in them, making it so that it's higher in sodium, or some sugar in it, making it so that, that would actually increase your sugar intake if you put too much. Cinnamon is nice and pure. Nothing in it but goodness. So replace that sugar for some cinnamon. It'll help you out in the long run. Something else that you might not think about, in one sugar packet, just a standard sugar packet, is about 4 grams of sugar. Now, it's recommended for women to have 24 grams of sugar a day, and for men it's recommended for you to have 36 grams of sugar a day. So let's do a little bit of math right here. Let's imagine that you go for your morning coffee and you need some sugar. So let's say you put 2 packs of sugar in it. That is 8 grams of sugar. Now, you can't just have 1 cup of coffee. Days are long, you get tired, you go for that second round of coffee. You put 2 more packs of sugar in it. Now, that is about 16 grams of sugar. Now, that is over half the amount of sugar that you should be having a day. And you still have meals to have. So, take that into account, the meals that you might have later in the day that have other sugar in it. It's gonna push you over that sugar line before you've, even really gotten going. Now this is a big one because I know I love candy. I don't know if anyone else loves candy, but I love me some candy. But let's try to trade in some of that sugary candy for some fruit. Fruit is super sweet and it also has sugar in it, but the sugar that is in your fruit are going to be natural sugars, whereas the sugars that you find in your candy are going to be added sugars, they're artificial sugars. We want the thing that's natural because the things that are natural are going to be actually beneficial to our health. So trade in that sugary snack for actual natural sugar that we get in our fruit. And also comes down to it that when you have that sugar that's in those candies, eventually you chow down a bunch of that, you're going to have that beautiful sugar high and that terrible sugar crash. You have natural flavors in your fruit, and you're not going to have that sugar crash. You avoid that sugar crash for something that's healthier for you and still tastes great. Tip number 3, let's edit those drinks. Now, a lot of drinks, and I'll give you about 2 examples that come off the top of my head. So, sports drinks. I'm not gonna name any names, but there are some sports drinks out there that are very popular that are loaded with sugar. What do we drink our energy drinks for? I think we drink it usually to give us those benefits of those electrolytes. There are other drinks other than some of those that have the high sugars in them that also give you those electrolytes but have little to no sugar. And there are also brands that, have a drink that has a lot of sugar in it, but still within that brand are options of less sugar. Let's put it out there because we all know who we're talking about. We're talking about Gatorade. We love Gatorade. Gatorade has made a lot of money. They're very successful. They are loaded with electrolytes, which we love, but also loaded with sugars, which we might not love. And, if you're working out all day and you're having a bunch of those just to get you through, give you those benefits, eventually you might have a crash from that too. And so, here's what you can do. Gatorade actually has a lot of different products that do vary on the amount of sugar that is in it. So it's really about doing your research within that brand or other brands too, because there are Gatorade drinks, and I'll put a little picture right there. Oh, yeah. So this drink here has little to no sugar in it, but still gives you those benefits of a normal Gatorade. And if you are someone who just loves that Gatorade taste and wants just nice and pure, go ahead and have one. I'm not here to stop you on that, but it's just really about editing and making sure you don't have too much of a good thing. And for those people that love soda, my sister, for one, is someone who loves soda. Not to at her, but I know she's a big fan of the Sprite. So am I. Sprites are delicious and, for the people. But there are other options. So for me, maybe swap your soda for a soda that's healthier for you. There are a lot of health sodas that are out now that are actually, sodas that taste great but give you good benefits. One of them is Poppy. I actually recommended it to my mother because she was interested in something that was good for your gut. So Poppy is a nice probiotic soda that gives you amazing health benefits and is great for your gut. So inside our gut, we have bacteria, good bacteria and bad bacteria. So having a drink like Poppy is going to help eliminate some of that bad bacteria and keep your gut nice and healthy. So try swapping your Sprite or your Coke or your Dr. Pepper, Mountain Dew, any of those for maybe something like a Poppy. And that way you can have a soda that is good for you and also tastes great. Another thing. So I know that we love our juices, our fruit juices. So just make sure when you're going for those fruit juices that they're 100% fruit and not the added sugars that can be in there, so that even if we are having our fruit juice, we can make sure that it's something that's not too bad. Fruit juices are always going to, have that sugar in it because it's a juice. Juices have sugar. So if you're trying to limit your sugar intake, going for fruit juice might not be the best thing, but if you are going to do it, just make sure you're going for one that is 100% pure fruit. This next one might seem a little straightforward, and hey, it kind of is, but it's a good one. So once I started to kind of measure how much I was putting into everything, it made it a lot easier to track it. And a lot of people might be like, oh no, measuring, counting might be unhealthy. And in some senses it can be, but in this sense not so much. This is just to make sure that you're staying healthy. So when you are going to maybe add some sugar or even add some salt, anything like that to your meal, just measure it. And I think a lot of times we don't do it because of laziness, because we don't want to go through the effort of getting that little measuring tool and actually measuring it out, making sure it's good. But honestly, just take those 10 seconds. It's really not that hard, because what's so easy to do is to just pour and, eyeball it. But, we don't know how much we're doing when we eyeball, and sometimes we do a little bit, and then, a little bit more, and then a little bit more, and then we're going over and we don't even know it. So just measuring from time to time could be something that's super helpful to just make sure that we're getting as much as we need and not going too much over. It's something that I definitely did a lot when I tried to sort of change things for myself. I started to measure things just to make sure that I was on track. And hey, it worked. This last one is something that I think is pretty important, and it's a nice sort of general rule that I think is good when it comes to just habits, and it's just understanding your patterns when it comes to eating. So you might think, what does that mean for me? But think about it. Go through your day and maybe take a day or 2 days and take those days to really track how you're eating. And that doesn't mean being like, oh yes, I'm gonna track my calories and blah, blah, blah. No, I mean, when you go for your meal and you're hungry and you make your meal, track what you did there. What did you have? why did you have it? Were you hungry? Or did you just go for it because it was there? And if you just do that for a few days, you'll understand the patterns of how you eat. And that way, understanding your habits means you can combat the things that maybe aren't so good. Maybe if you find that you're starting to eat really late at night, right before you go to bed, why are you doing that? Are you actually hungry, or are you just doing it because it's there? It's just a nice way of making sure you know what you're doing when you're eating and why you're doing it. Because a lot of the times, I think, for myself, I would go and eat something because I was like, you know what, why not? And it's not always because it's there that I would go and eat. Sometimes I would just eat because I'm like, oh wait, I have that really cool thing and I just want to eat it because I know it's going to taste good. And you know, sometimes it's like that, but it's better to kind of be like, oh, this is why I did this. Now I can switch. Or, oh, you know, this thing that I did was really great. It's not all about, you know, putting yourself down or saying, man, I did that really bad thing when it comes to eating, because we don't need to be too hard on ourselves. You know, life is hard enough already. We can be kinder to ourselves. So also celebrate the things that you're doing. Oh, I did that thing there with my eating. That was pretty good. Yeah. And celebrate the good things that you do along with the things that maybe aren't working for you so well. And think about the things that are good. Why are they good? Things that are bad. Why are they bad? Where is that balance and how can we find it? Try to go for something like that. It's a nice way of reducing things without it feeling like you're just eliminating. Because I think that's when things can get hard. I think when you just say, oh, I'm just going to not do that ever again, ever, you're going to end up doing that probably next week. It's better about just, you know, taking things down a little bit so that, you know, you can balance. Because if you just cut something out cold turkey, it usually doesn't work. And that's what this whole video is about, just reducing sugar, not eliminating sugar, reducing it. Sugar's delicious. It's so yummy. But let's find a way to, you know, have a little bit less so that we're a little bit more healthy, because it's really easy not to be. Thank you so much for listening to this video, watching this video, for being here with me. If you got to the end of this video, I love you. You're great. If you want to train with me, you can. There are links in my bio here for people to follow me on all social media to know what I am up to and when a new video is going to be coming out. Thank you so much for watching. Now go out there and get some sun. Bye now.